From Foles to dog masks, Eagles Pederson shows his genius. Philadelphia-Eagles coach Doug Pederson didn't leave anything to chance. That was true with his game plan on offense in finding a scheme that quarterback Nick Foles could thrive in. And it was true with Pederson's game plan in the players' minds all throughout the week. It was a motivational ploy straight out of Hoosiers and Rudy and any other movie depicting a team that was given no chance to win. There was even a video made with highlights of national media members predicting the Eagles would lose, with signs around the NovaCare Complex about how no one respected them. It inspired Lane Johnson to order a few German Shepherd dog masks to represent the fact that the Eagles were the first #1 seed ever to be rated as an underdog in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. No doubt, all of that had some bearing on the Eagles' 15-10 victory over the Atlanta Falcons in the NFC divisional round of the playoffs on Saturday night. At the very least, it made the Eagles believe that they could win. "That's what football is all about," Johnson said. "We used it to our advantage. Probably moving forward, we're not going to be picked to win again. But it's anybody's season now." Pederson's real genius, however, was coming up with a game plan that made quarterback Nick Foles thrive. So what can Pederson do for an encore, both on the field and in the players' minds to win the NFC Championship game next Sunday against either the Minnesota Vikings or New Orleans Saints? It would be hard for Pederson to top his performance on the no-respect mentality ever since starting quarterback Carson Wentz tore his ACL on December 10, ending his season. Eagles, team takes fans on emotional roller coaster ride. Eagles, defense makes statement in win-out football. Former Middletown star QB transfers from BC. Since that point, no one has given us a chance, Pederson said. And I understand. Carson's a great player. But every week, our guys are hearing the same thing, that now we are all of a sudden not good enough. We're 13-3 and have the best record in football. We've got home field advantage throughout. I mean, the guys are going to motivate themselves just based on what they have done and heard for the last month of football. Of course, Pederson made sure that they heard about all of it. No doubt, the Eagles will be rated as underdogs again, even though they're going to be playing at Lincoln Financial Field, which several players described as shaking after the Eagles stopped the Falcons on 4th and goal from the 2 in the final minutes. But really, that started on the very first play, when Pederson had Foles throw deep, and into a stiff wind, to Torrey Smith. It's not that the play was close to working. It wasn't. But the wind knocked the ball down, and it was well short of Smith, who had to stop and start coming back to the ball. But the Falcons defender never looked back and ran into Smith, and that turned into a 42-yard pass interference penalty. The Eagles didn't score on the drive, either, as J.J. fumbled on the next play. But from then on, the Falcons had to respect the deep pass. And that gave Foles some room to operate underneath. He completed 76.7% of his passes, the highest for an Eagles quarterback in the playoffs. The longest pass went for 32 yards, and that was on a screen to Ajayi, who picked up about 31 of those yards after catching the ball. It came on 3rd and 7 call from the Eagles 20 early in the fourth quarter, and got the Eagles past midfield. That meant the Eagles didn't have to punt from deep in their own territory. It also kept alive a drive that would last for 7 minutes, 57 seconds and culminate in a field goal. That field goal forced the Falcons to score a touchdown to win the game rather than a field goal. What did Foles think of the call? I mean, it's 32 yards, so I love it, he said. A lot of times when you run a screen, earlier in the game, teams don't expect it again. And then we have probably the most athletic linemen in the league. I mean, they are amazing, with what they can do. That was a huge play in the game for us. Sure enough, left guard Stephen Wisniewski blocked 3 different Falcons players on that play. 2 at the line of scrimmage, and 1 downfield. There was also an inside handoff to wide receiver Nelson Aguilar that picked up 21 yards to the Falcons 3 early in the second quarter. That, too, came on a 3rd down. If Aguilar is stopped there, the Eagles have to kick a field goal. Instead, they eventually got a touchdown, in extra 3 points. Jake Elliott missed the extra point. It was the first time the Eagles had run that play this season. Like any quarterback in the playoffs, Foles still had to make a play, and none were bigger than the 15-yard sideline pass to Alshon Jeffrey with 1 second left in the first half that put Elliott in position for a 53-yard field goal as time expired. Those were all plays that Foles could handle. That had a bigger impact than the propaganda ploys. You guys doubted him. We never doubted him, Jeffrey said about Foles. We never said that. We believe in anybody lining up back there at quarterback. We believe that we still have 21 other guys out there. Pederson made sure of that. The Eagles announced that a limited number of tickets for the NFC Championship game will go on sale Tuesday at 10 a.m. The game will be played Sunday at 6:40 p.m. at Lincoln Financial Field. Tickets can only be purchased online at www.ticketmaster.com or by calling Ticketmaster at 1-800-745-3000. General ticket prices range from $170 to $255 and standing room only tickets are $135. There is a 4-ticket limit per household and all tickets will be available on a first-come, first-served basis. Contact Martin Frank at delawareinline.com. Follow on Twitter at mfrankenful.